Oh, yes, the moment has finally arrived. Check it out. This is part of the first batch, small batch of production tests for the Iron Scavenger. And I'm going to do the unboxing together with my dad and show you the assembly. And it is a beast. I think it's one of the biggest boxes in 1/6 scale you've ever had. Look at it next to my father, who's over 6 feet. So not a small man, very big box. So let's start unboxing. All right. Ooh. The first production samples. The screw and assembly kit. These are the diorama pieces. I'll take them out. And then there's the backpack. And then there's the next layer. Just one wing. What do you think, Dad?
Beautiful.
Big, huh?
Perfect.
Oh, look at that. Another wing.
Another wing.
With, yeah, cool. And then the diorama base. My dad's a big guy. I'm 6'8". Look at my hand. This is a big, big base. And then these are the rods for suspension. And these pieces, of course, you have to strip off the blue plastic. These are to protect them from scratches. And so that's it. So let's take everything out and assemble. So, check it out. This is the wing, the final design. Could you hold it, Dad? All right, so hold it tight. Yes, because I can show the first hinge and it is strong enough so that if I keep it like, no, hang on, like this, it doesn't fall back, as you can see. Now, let me show the second cool thing about this. Not only does this rotate, look at that, nice and firm, but that is so cool. And this is actual metal. So there are some metal parts in here just for the huge weight and construction issue that comes with having a 4-foot wingspan. What do you say, 4 feet? Yes, 4 feet. So I'll do the assembly later, but let's take out the figure. As you can see, the leather jacket, the cool helmet with the light up features, the removable visor, the batteries that you can put in the top of the helmet, and then the eyes light up. Of course, everything is fully posable. And here are the movable, what are these? What are we going to call these? The hooks, the talons, I think might be a cool word. So, of course, everything is custom tailored to the proper design. And if you want, you can just have them stand like this and put the wings and the wingsuit on the diorama display stand using these parts. So, to be continued. All right, let's start the assembly. So, when removing the diorama display pieces, the maintenance mounts or whatever you want to call them, be sure to grab them in the center and push this back so that it doesn't catch on this. And as you can see, this articulates. So I got everything I need for now. I suggest getting the top foam protector from the box and using that as your work mat to do the assembly. As you can see, as you can find in the box, not only do we include the assembly screws, of course, but also all the tools you will need. So a Phillips and 2 Allen wrenches for the different screws. If you so desire, you can start by placing the batteries, and for that you just remove this part, which attaches magnetically quite beautifully. Get your little cool Phillips screwdriver, take out the screw carefully, take this out, and then start the crappy work of inserting batteries. Never my favorite part, but it is necessary for lineup features, which of course we had to do, let's be honest. As our favorite sponge show would say, 2000 hours later. I got the batteries in, and then all you need to do is find this mini switch, turn that on, and then it is all sorts of cool. Maximum coolness achieved. So when you reattach this, make sure to get this little tab in here so that it sits flush and it's fixed on both ends. Then attach the little screw. These batteries have already been on too long. As you can see, they're already dying. Okay, I admit it. I've been having this up in pose for a while. Okay, so well, you can remove these protectors for the claws. Just be careful with everything you do, as you normally would. Quite detailed and therefore a little sensitive, though nothing more than you would expect. Check out the cool thread on the boots, the cool shin guards, the knee guards. As you can see, this also is fully posable along with these parts, of course. Nice firm feeling, everything stays in place. This moves. The hose goes into behind the neck in the collar here. Took quite a while to get the right kind of material here. In the pre-production press pictures this is lighter, but in the actual movie it's darker, so this is the closest we could find. Again, this moves. This is one piece, so you cannot move the, you can move the gloved hand, but not, this part doesn't rotate. Here it does, and this of course does. Alright, so let's put him to the side. So there's 2 display options, and when you do the assembly, it's good to make a decision about how you want to display yours. So you have the maintenance stand gantry unit thing, and that one goes on top of this, and you get the these parts pointing inwards. So let's do that one first, like that. And you screw them in with the big ass screw D. and get the big ass Allen wrench for that. Right. Just a little tight, but just not so tight that you cannot move this. Make your job posing a lot easier. Same on this end. Just put the big ass wrench here. This will just assemble the wings and the backpack separately. So as you can see, this is metal, the axle in here is metal, here are some metal parts, so it's as durable as it can be while still making the entire assembly light enough for display. So this will come pressed together and you can just take this apart. It's a nice and tight fit, but don't worry, you cannot break anything. It's just that these four slot into this. Alright, so before you start assembling the wings, you have to assess the and find out which is the front and which is the back. So you will recognize the back of the wings because these pivot points are there on the back, right? So another point to be careful of is these tiny wires. They are fragile, of course. Okay, so we've put them down so that the back with these arms is facing us. And as you can see, these two parts are stepped so that these two parts will not align and rub against each other. That's per design. So it's easier to do it this way. Make it finger tight. Don't over tighten it. I would suggest against using an electric screwdriver or drill for this. It might rip out your threading. That's why we include the manual screwdriver. Okay, so this is attached and assembled, and then you just slide on the backpack like that. Now, I always like to prevent any undue stress on anything, so keep it laying flat, and then place these things down. Then lift them up carefully close to the backpack. So it pivots here, these points pivot, this rotates. And then you can have him just walking away or posing up a storm here. I would suggest getting the claws or the talons up until you're happy with the pose, like that. Or have him walking away from the maintenance platform, whatever you like. So that's display option 1. So this is display option 1. Posing him separately from the flight backpack and suit. Of course, the exoskeleton is still on, but this is why we include this part that goes away, that you take off when you attach the flight suit to the figure. You can still faintly see the green lights, but my batteries have been on for a long time. So as you can see, that looks pretty cool. So yeah, it's a lot of extras to include, but I just wanted to give you as many display options as possible. Maybe put like the wingsuit on top of a D-Dolphin. You have the option to put the figure inside. So it's just a lot of cool stuff. So moving on to the next option. So, this is something fun to look at while I'm working on the second display option. So, these come with the protective foil, which is what gives them the blue look. So, carefully remove that. Always satisfying. Very clean and shiny. For the rear, I'll just leave that. No, I won't. Nope. When you do this, handle it by the edges so that it stays clean and clear. So you get these two bendable rods, the only ones that can hold the weight and well, make me comfortable of sending it to you, having it in your collection for many years. So that's why we didn't do the clear rods, because guess what? After nearly 6 months of standing on top of my detolfs, it all came crashing down. So, decided against that. So, the orientation is important. The longer ends point towards each other, go towards the middle. And then just place these here. Get screw C. This is where the Allen wrench comes in handy, the smaller one. Like that. Ensure that you have it parallel to the screw line, or exactly 90 degrees towards the surface, because otherwise you might damage the thread. So it feels pretty tight going in. But we want to be careful not to strip the threads. So best just check and double check. As soon as there's no play, you're done. So don't force anything. Okay, so both of them are on, nothing too tight. Now let's put these aside. Carefully take out the backpack and wings. Let's remove the diorama pieces, the gantry pieces. That's for the backpack later, and then of course we can reuse screw D to attach this. All right, and while the rest of the family is entertaining people during their, well, they still have a summer break, let's do the final steps. So these parts, the bottom one attaches magnetically, and the top one you can just slide that off. Carefully, always carefully. Here you go. So this slides off. As you can see, this attaches magnetically. So if you want to just display the figure separately, you can. And then you just flip it over, take off the cover, place this on top, and get the final screws and use these holes in the center to get your magnetic Phillips screwdriver again and screw it on until it's finger tight. Remember here that the figure never holds the entire weight of the wings, so just slide that on, and then let's get this display stand, and we get the wings, and the wings carry the figure. So, and then just carefully center this and slide it in. And, well, then you can just pose it the way you want. Get this figure out front, get the feet in a more dynamic pose like that, and then that way you can bend the wings forward if you want, like that. Maybe do something with the rotors, and you have what I would think is quite a centerpiece. So, what do you think?